After being in the news for a comment she made on her podcast, Sophie Cunningham's week that keeps on giving has hit a new high. She started out the week on Good Morning America, and now she is closing out the week starring in an Adidas commercial highlighting the new shoes that are about to be released.
Okay, check this out. Sophie Cunningham just took a simple sneaker ad and turned it into the most talked about moment in the WNBA. What was supposed to be just a chill, lighthearted Adidas commercial showcasing some sick new electric pink shoes completely blew up into a full-blown controversy, all because fans spotted some seriously subtle or not so subtle digs aimed right at the Indiana Fever.
Sophie Cunningham has taken the ball and ran with it. For that, Sophie Cunningham, kudos to you. Making lemonade out of the lemons that you've been given. Capitalizing on your newfound fame, your newfound stardom. Being a part of the Indiana Fever. Defending Caitlin Clark. You got the Arby's deal. You got the ring deal. And now, starring in a commercial.
And get this. The clip went absolutely viral overnight, instantly sparking heated debates about loyalty, fame, and you guessed it, money. Was Sophie using her newfound spotlight to send a secret message to her team, or even the entire league? Whatever the real story is, one thing's for sure, this Adidas commercial completely flipped the script on how everyone sees Sophie Cunningham. Forever.
All new X colorways from Adidas and Damian Lillard.
Say night-night to your opponent in night purple. Be in your element with black sulfur, or cause a shock with electric pink.
Where's electric pink?
Sophie Cunningham?
I'm busy.
Wow! Thank you.
Available at Adidas.com. Availability, sizing, color, website address, and prices may vary by region. Please check with local retailer. And remember, always name time responsibly.
It all kicked off like any other Adidas promo reel, right? Just another unveiling of their latest basketball shoes. But hold up. This time, something felt totally different. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just some background player, she was the undeniable centerpiece. Dressed head to toe in striking, electric pink, she owned every single frame with a confidence that practically screamed, "Yeah, I've officially arrived."
This is pretty much a Sophie Cunningham commercial, let's be honest here. This isn't her alongside another WNBA player. This isn't her alongside another NBA player. This is a Sophie Cunningham commercial selling these new Dame shoes.
Fans expected a quick cameo, maybe a group shot with a bunch of other WNBA or NBA stars. Instead, they got a full-on, no-holds-barred Sophie Cunningham showcase. And boom, social media absolutely exploded within hours. Clips of the ad flooded TikTok and X, and viewers just could not ignore the undertone. It wasn't just a commercial, it was a straight-up statement. Sophie's smirk, that dismissive "I'm busy" line, and the closing shot with the slogan "Be unapologetic" sent fans into a complete frenzy. Some saw pure empowerment, others saw some serious shade being thrown directly at the Indiana Fever.
Adidas sees the money that Sophie Cunningham is, see the star that she is becoming, that she continues to become, and said, yep, we're gonna capitalize on that. She's already been underneath the brand. She's already been affiliated with Adidas. And they said, let's push that button real quick. We see her on let's push that button. We see her TikTok blowing up, her Instagram blowing up. Let's get some of those eyeballs onto our product, and hopefully that can help convert some sales.
And get this, the timing couldn't have been more suspicious if she tried. Just days before this whole ad dropped, Sophie was making serious waves on her podcast, not so subtly hinting that she wanted a bigger contract, and even casually mentioning cities outside of Indiana. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Sophie Cunningham also in the news for comments she made about her new potential contract. Maybe mentioned some cities that aren't Indiana. Has fans asking the question, is Sophie Cunningham coming back? Are the Fever front office going to blow this? Are the Fever front office going to offer her a max contract?
So, for a ton of people, this Adidas ad felt like the ultimate mic drop, the exclamation point on that entire conversation. Was Sophie low-key signaling her independence from the Fever? Or was Adidas just smart, cashing in on her skyrocketing popularity to stir up some major controversy for clicks and sales? Honestly, either way, it worked.
The reaction was massive.
So many people would love to buy some Sophie Cunningham Adidas merchandise. Please make it happen. Don't want a PE, I want her own shoe. I gotta be honest. The term electric pink for Sophie Cunningham, electric pink, I don't hate that name either. Extra spicy. Hey, I'm not mad at this little rollout that we got for Sophie Cunningham this week. It's not a coincidence. I'm sure this commercial was shot weeks ago or months ago, but it's no coincidence that we have Good Morning America on Monday and we close out with an Adidas commercial.
Sports media outlets devoured it, analyzing every single second of that commercial. Some praised Sophie for absolutely owning her narrative, calling it pure marketing brilliance. But wait, it gets crazier. Others accused her of outright arrogance, saying she'd let fame completely cloud her loyalty to the team. Fans were totally divided, but one thing was undeniable. Sophie Cunningham had officially crossed over into mainstream recognition, and everyone knew her name.
That's how this is done. You build and you build and you build. You reach that climax, boom, hit them with the commercial. Salute to Sophie Cunningham. I like the nicknames. Extra spicy, electric pink. Absolutely awesome. I'm so happy to see Sophie coining it. I'd like her to get enough money to buy a house so that she can play for the team she wants to play for, not be focused on the earnings.
But here's the tea. Insiders are whispering that the front office was not thrilled. They knew that kind of attention could easily pull the spotlight away from the team and put it squarely on Sophie's personal brand. And let's be real. If there's one thing the WNBA often struggles with, it's gracefully handling a player's individual star power, outshining the entire franchise. What happened next made it crystal clear. This wasn't just some viral moment. It was the beginning of a massive power shift, unfolding right inside the Indiana Fever.
Sophie Cunningham was building a name for herself as far as her TikTok goes, as far as her Instagram goes, as far as her likeness goes, as far as her appeal goes. She already had the nickname MAGA Barbie, like it or not, over there in Phoenix Mercury. So she already had some clout, so to speak, before coming to Indiana. And then this year has done nothing but just take it to another level.
Okay, so get this. Adidas saw something in Sophie Cunningham that literally everyone else in the WNBA was too slow to recognize: pure, unadulterated star power. When her name started blowing up after those fiery moments defending Caitlin Clark and her bold-as-hell social media presence, the brand knew they had lightning in a bottle. Making her the face of their latest campaign wasn't random. It was a cold, calculated move. Sophie embodies everything Adidas wanted: confidence, chaos, and charisma, all rolled into one wild package. In that commercial, she didn't need teammates or background extras. Her energy just filled the screen. Adidas handed her the spotlight, framing her as this ultimate disruptor in a league that, let's be honest, often struggles to create true marketing icons. They leaned hard into her polarizing image, the one fans either adore or absolutely love to hate, and turned it into her greatest weapon. That electric pink line wasn't just a color, it became her personality, symbolizing her unpredictable edge. The rollout, pure genius. The ad dropped right after her appearance on Good Morning America, when she was already all over national headlines. No coincidence, pure strategy. Adidas waited for the Sophie hype to peak, then unleashed the campaign to snag every single ounce of momentum. Within hours, electric pink was trending, and Sophie's name was being searched more than any other WNBA player that week. This is the kind of brand synergy the league literally dreams about, a player becoming a cultural conversation, not just a sports story. Adidas wasn't just selling shoes, they were selling Sophie Cunningham as a lifestyle, positioning her as the WNBA's rebellious ambassador, someone totally unafraid to challenge the system while looking absolutely flawless doing it. For Sophie, this was monumental validation. She'd spent years grinding for recognition, often overshadowed by bigger names, but now, she was the headline. Adidas made her impossible to ignore. And while fans were celebrating her glow-up, the Indiana Fever front office started feeling some serious heat because when a player's market value skyrockets overnight, it doesn't just boost their brand, it changes everything about their future with the team. And speaking of changing everything, while the Adidas commercial was still making massive waves, Sophie dropped another bombshell that had Fever fans holding their breath during a podcast appearance. She spoke super openly about her next contract, and the message was crystal clear: she wasn't just looking for another deal, she was looking for a home. With a totally calm smile, Sophie said she wanted a bigger contract so she could finally buy a house and feel cozy. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. What followed turned it into an absolute bombshell moment, when she casually name-dropped cities like New York and Minneapolis as places she could see herself living. That single sentence sent social media into total chaos, with fans instantly speculating if she was teasing a move to the New York Liberty or the Minnesota Lynx. Indiana Fever supporters flooded comment sections, practically begging her not to leave, while others accused her of playing the media game, using contract talks to pressure the front office into paying up. Sophie, for her part, didn't backtrack a single inch. She doubled down on her work, saying she wanted a contract that reflected not just her play, but her immense influence. And honestly, she's not wrong. Few players have leveraged fame, fashion, and fan engagement the way Sophie has this season. Between her Arby's partnership, her viral TikTok, and now this massive Adidas spotlight, she's become a pure marketing magnet. But here's where the real tension bubbles up, just beneath the surface. The Fever already have major financial commitments ahead, especially with Caitlin Clark's inevitable max extension on the horizon. So the huge question is, can Indiana really afford to pay Sophie what she's worth, without completely compromising their cap space? Whether she meant to or not, her comments put undeniable public pressure on the franchise. Fans, sponsors, and even the media started framing her as one of the league's hottest rising free agents. Sophie's bigger contract comment wasn't just about money. It was about status, leverage, and full-blown independence. And if the Fever don't handle this exactly right, they could find themselves watching Sophie Cunningham take her electric pink glow somewhere else entirely. This, my friends, landed the Indiana Fever squarely in the hot seat, just when the franchise was finally getting national attention thanks to Caitlin Clark's insane popularity and the team's growing chemistry. Sophie Cunningham's Adidas commercial and those contract remarks reignited a full-blown storm of speculation. Inside the organization, executives reportedly felt absolutely blindsided. They knew Sophie was a fan favorite, but they never expected her to control the narrative so publicly. For a team desperately trying to rebuild its image, this situation created an incredibly uncomfortable spotlight that no one in the front office could possibly ignore. Behind those closed doors, Fever management is facing a truly difficult dilemma. Sophie's breakout year has undeniably boosted the team's visibility, yet her new market value is skyrocketing faster than their payroll can possibly handle. The WNBA salary cap is notoriously tight, and pretty soon, the Fever will have to pay both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston top dollar. Giving Sophie a huge deal now could seriously complicate their long-term roster flexibility, but underpaying her risks losing one of the league's most charismatic players, potentially alienating that growing fan base drawn to her bold personality. Financial experts around the league are arguing that Sophie's brand value alone completely justifies a strong offer. She brings attention, sponsors, and audience engagement that the Fever have struggled to generate for years. Meanwhile, the traditionalists within the organization might hesitate, questioning if her on-court production truly matches her off-court fame. This internal tug-of-war could honestly define the Fever's entire next chapter. Fans, though, they've made their stance crystal clear. Social media is flooded with hashtags like #PaySophie and Keep Cunningham, with supporters demanding the team show respect for her undeniable impact. The Fever's silence only fuels this drama, and every single day they wait to address it, the tension just grows, and the risk of losing her multiplies. Sophie's camp isn't staying quiet either. Sources close to her suggest she's fully aware of the leverage she holds, and she is absolutely ready to use it. The Adidas spotlight gave her more than just fame. It gave her serious negotiating power. And if Indiana hesitates much longer, Sophie might just remind them how replaceable loyalty can be in a business built entirely on branding. Let me tell you, Sophie Cunningham has mastered something few WNBA players ever have, turning controversy into cold, hard currency. Long before the Adidas deal, she was already crafting a brand that lived way beyond basketball. Her presence on TikTok and Instagram absolutely exploded after her fiery on-court clashes and unapologetic interviews. But what makes her different is how she's completely leaned into that spotlight instead of running from it. Every viral clip, every bold statement, every sideline smirk has become part of the Sophie Cunningham brand. Confident, chaotic, and captivating. Her nickname, MAGA Barbie, once a jab from critics during her Phoenix Mercury days, somehow evolved into a marketing tool. She embraced it, flipped the script, and turned it into part of her identity. That's what makes Sophie such a force in the modern sports world. She's self-aware, she totally understands attention economics, and she knows exactly how to monetize the noise. Her Arby's deal, her ring sponsorship, and now the Adidas Electric Pink campaign. You're looking at one of the fastest growing brands in the entire league. For Sophie, every opportunity is strategic. The podcast appearances, the social media engagement, the brand collaborations, they all serve a larger goal: independent. She doesn't just want to be another WNBA player waiting for recognition. She's building an empire where she calls the shots. It's the same kind of playbook followed by stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but Sophie's version feels rawer, more unpredictable, and intensely personal. What makes this rise even more fascinating is the timing. The WNBA is desperate for stars who can move the needle, and Sophie is absolutely proving that controversy sells just as much as championships. She might not be the league's top scorer, but she's definitely its top headline generator. Still, that success comes with a cost. The more she wins off the court, the more whispers grow inside the locker room and the front office. Some admire her hustle, others see it as a distraction, but love her or hate her, Sophie Cunningham is doing what few dare to do. She's redefining what power looks like in women's basketball. Now, inside the Indiana Fever locker room, things aren't as calm as they appear on camera. Sophie Cunningham's meteoric rise has subtly shifted the atmosphere from unity to a quiet, simmering competition. Teammates who once just laughed off her playful energy are now watching her endorsement deals and media attention with seriously mixed feelings. Some admire her grind and see her success as motivation, but others whisper that the spotlight has become too focused on Sophie and not enough on the collective team effort. Her Adidas commercial was the tipping point. While fans online cheered her electric pink confidence, insiders say a few players felt genuinely blindsided. They saw the ad as just another example of Sophie's growing independence from team branding, especially since no other Fever players appeared in. In a league built on teamwork, individual success can sometimes, well, look a lot like rebellion. And with every viral clip, every trending hashtag, Sophie's influence inside the locker room only grows stronger. Caitlin Clark's presence, of course, adds another massive layer of complexity. Both players attract huge audiences, but for entirely different reasons. Clark represents the all-American underdog, clean, disciplined, laser-focused on the game. Sophie is the rebel, the fiery, outspoken showstopper, who absolutely thrives on chaos. Together, they draw massive attention, but it's a balancing act that's incredibly hard to maintain. Some insiders say management worries about competing egos, but others believe their contrasting personalities could actually be the spark that defines this new era of the Behind the scenes, coaches are treading super carefully. They know Sophie's popularity is priceless for the franchise, yet they absolutely cannot afford to lose team chemistry. Players have reportedly been told to focus on basketball and stay off social media drama. But let's be real, that's way easier said than done in the modern WNBA, where every single move goes viral within minutes. The truth is, the Fever are standing at a major crossroads, one where fame, loyalty, and raw ambition are colliding. And the next decision Sophie makes could determine whether this team stays united or begins to crack from the inside. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's name hovers over everything the Indiana Fever does, and Sophie Cunningham knows it. These two have become the faces of a new WNBA era, one built on flash, massive fandom, and fierce individuality. While Caitlin's rise was fueled by record-breaking college performances and that clean-cut image, Sophie's fame comes from her unapologetic personality and her willingness to play the villain. Together, they form a marketing goldmine, but also, let's be honest, a potential flashpoint for the team's future. From a branding standpoint, keeping Sophie and Caitlin together makes perfect sense. They completely balance each other out. Caitlyn draws the basketball purists, and Sophie brings in the entertainment crowd. Adidas, Nike, and even ESPN have noticed how both names dominate fan conversations. It's no coincidence that Sophie's electric pink rollout happened the same week Caitlyn's Nike shoe deal headlines resurfaced. Whether planned or accidental, their combined star power is driving more engagement than the entire league managed last season. But from a team perspective, this dynamic can be super tricky. Both women demand attention in their own ways, and the Fever absolutely must navigate that spotlight without letting egos collide. Some insiders believe Sophie's recent moves, her Adidas commercial, her contract comments, her viral TikToks, are her way of making sure she isn't overshadowed by Caitlyn, in a media landscape totally obsessed with Clark. Sophie has found her own lane and sped right into it. Fans, however, are split. Some love the duo, calling them the fire and ice of the Fever, but others fear that one star's success could come at the expense of the other. For now, the chemistry between them appears strong, but the whispers of competition absolutely linger.